Now, it's that time of the year when cash-strapped families are most likely to turn to loan sharks, who of course charge exorbitant rates of interest in many cases. Across Yorkshire and Lincolnshire, there are a number of charities and social enterprises set up to avoid people getting bogged down in debt. But many of these organisations are now asking for help from the government because they themselves can't borrow from the banks. Here's Len Tingle.
Refurnish, based in this industrial park at Carcroft on the outskirts of Doncaster, is a highly unusual business.
So you employ 38 people?
Yes.
That's a big workforce.
Well, it is, but we do an awful lot of things. We've got Ken and the others who assemble furniture. We've got drivers who collect unwanted furniture.
What's being put together here is brand new and sold by top-of-the-range high street shops, but was rejected and returned by a customer because slight damage or even a small part was missing when the flat-pack box was opened at home. In the past, the retailer found it too expensive to bother fixing, so it went straight to landfill. Now they're donating it here, and it will be sold off to people who could not possibly have afforded its original price.
The demand for this sort of cut-price, new furniture hasn't just grown, it's exploded as incomes have been squeezed. There are about 200 companies around the country doing this sort of thing, but it's thought that there's plenty of scope for more of them. The problem is getting the finance to set them up. The banks just don't want to know.
That's because they're legally social enterprises, with charitable status and all the profits put back into the business. So to expand, they have to look for alternative sources of funding.
My name's Matt Smith. I work for an organisation called the Key Fund, and we provide loans to social enterprises to help them to grow and develop. At the Key Fund, our job is specifically to work with social enterprises, and actually a requirement of our funding is that they've been turned down by the bank. Unsurprisingly, at the moment, it's very easy to get that refusal from a bank.
Refurnish's link up with the Sheffield-based Key Fund has allowed it to open extra showrooms like this in areas of high unemployment around South Yorkshire. But it says banks are also reluctant to provide finance for its target market, the low-paid, those on benefits and pensioners. So many of those are turning to the new high-interest payday loan companies.
Typical Betty, always honest. That's why I like it at Wonga.
This week, concerned MPs questioned a senior executive of Wonga.com.
The whole sector exists because the banks haven't created an adequate system of short-term loans for customers. I mean, if they did that, you wouldn't be in the market.
Well, I think we would have to compete, and we would be happy to compete with banks as well, absolutely. We welcome competition.
That's not good enough, say these social enterprises. Many, like Refurnish, are trying to bypass expensive lenders by linking up with community-based providers of cheaper personal loans. But the funding available for all this work is severely limited. Unless the banks start lending more, the poorest could well be pushed into further hardship.